Hello, everybody. You're welcome to today's episode of The Day in the Life. And today I have Fidamilola on the show with me. Hi, Fidami, and welcome to the Tech Talk Show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Fidami, let's begin with having you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, Fidamilola Olojede. I currently work as the chief of staff at Price Valley. Um, I had my first degree in animal nutrition and biotechnology. I'm sure you're wondering what it has to do with what I do now. But anyways, that's it.
So I know I've
Yeah.
seen the title, on LinkedIn a few times, but I'm just curious now. How does your role as the COS, Chief of Staff, right, different from operations or the HR role?
Or the HRO. Okay, yeah. So in fact, some people even mix it up with that of an EA because by the time you are like, okay, this is I do this, I do that, and they're like, okay, today they are like HR, tomorrow they are EA, okay, next tomorrow they are like chief operating officer. So basically, I think for a chief of staff, there is no department, so that like it's not like you have like a department to yourself, right? You are just across board, unlike HR. HR is a department, right? So I would like to use one of the things that HR department does, right, and then where a chief of staff comes in. So, for example, in hiring, an HR person or would want to would interview those people and all, but a chief of staff determines if the organization can actually afford to take somebody in at that time, right? So a chief of staff decides, okay, can we afford to take somebody in at this time based on the organization's financials and all, and the place of the organization, and okay, so can we afford to do this? Yes, we can. Then you can now tell HR, yes, we need to hire this, and then HR recruits. You understand? Then one of the things that HR does again is, okay, for example, I'll say HR manages people. They are not necessarily the decision makers. They just implement policies. While a chief of staff creates these policies, creates the organizational culture. You just communicate to HR, and HR makes sure that it is implemented. Makes sure that people are doing what they are supposed to do. HR monitors compliance.
But
Do you get that, or do I still need to break it down a little bit?
no, it's fine. I guess maybe with in some other companies, the CSO role might also just be a little different from how
So
you have your setup. Right.
yes, so I
Right.
was going to say it that I think that role and what a COS does, right, is mainly dependent on the organization. Basically, it is mainly dependent on the organization. What does the organization need, and what how is the organization structured, right? So some people might say it is a chief operating officer. We have a chief operating officer, and what she does is entirely different from what I do, right? So a chief of staff serves like a right hand man to the CEO. So in short, I'm in charge of like communications between the other employees and then the CEO.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that your background was in sales, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. But now that you're working with an e-commerce firm, so
Yes.
how did you transition from a salesperson to becoming a chief of
A
staff
chief
of
of
an
staff.
e-commerce firm? Yes.
Okay. So I would like to say that like organizations differ basically, right? And having a sales background, at least the idea, the reason why anybody is in business is to sell. But having listened to people who actually occupy this same role in other organizations, handpicked. They were handpicked into the role. So I would say that being a salesperson, I would say it has helped me one way or the other because I understand the business, and having communicating this business to our consumers, being a salesperson right from time. So I would just say there are some things that I actually picked that has helped me. How I transitioned, I was basically just picked as a chief of staff usually. And if you will communicate to other people as who are chief of staff, you would see that similar. That's like they have like similar experience. I was listening to this person's interview. The CEO of LinkedIn is chief of staff. I was listening to him, and he was talking about how he was going to go for his MBA and at is it Stanford or Harvard? I can't really remember. And then he had a conversation with the CEO, and the CEO was like, "Okay, I want you to be this for me," and that was how he got the role. So it wasn't like he even applied for the role. So it's I think it's just it deals with people management, and I think that is how sales has helped me in that line, because as a salesperson you have to interact with people every now and then. Or being a salesperson has helped me manage relationships. And being a chief of staff, that is what you do primarily. You need to manage your employees, you need to manage your superiors for the growth of the organization. So it is more of people operations. It is actually the people part of the business.
Given that you use technology to render a lot of your services where you work now, right? So, does that require you to learn some aspect of technology to do your work really well? Or do you just focus on your COS role, just managing people?
Okay, so just like we know that there are different sides to an organization, different things actually come together to make a business what it is, right? There is the tech team. If I'm learning anything techy, it is probably for just, wanting to know out of curiosity, but you need at least there are basic things that you need to know, right? For example, softwares and all of those things, because you need to be able to communicate this thing in ways that your um, your other colleagues will be able to understand and all. So, did I actually need to have a tech skill? Not exactly, right? Not exactly, because there are people who do this stuff. They are there, they are getting their stuff done, but you need to have an understanding so you're not completely unaware. What kind of chief of staff will you make when you're
Okay, okay.
unaware?
So, can you tell us, Fidami, what does a typical day at work for you as the COS for Price Value? What does it look like? You want to run us through it?
Yeah, definitely. So I was saying something earlier. I was talking about being a fixer and an enabler. Aside attending tons of meetings, I do what needs to be done. If I need to meet up with some people, I meet up with them. If I need to make some calls, I make some calls. If I need to follow up with my colleagues, I follow up with my colleagues. If I need to get my hands on the job, irrespective of what it is, I get it done. Right now, I'm making calls. The next thing, I'm in a meeting. The next thing, I'm following up with my colleagues. The next thing, I'm doing stuff myself. That's why I called myself a fixer and an enabler.
Thank you so much, Fidami, for coming on the Tech Talk show with me today.
Thank you for
Any
having
last
me.
words?
I would say that for anybody looking into this career path, as much as it is quite interesting and it's actually an opportunity to learn, right? It can be a very dicey position because you have to deal with people, and then there are times that people are questioning why you understand. So it's just you just one, you have to believe in yourself. Second, you have to be really open to ideas, open to other parts of a business, learning daily, and that way you'll be able to get the hang of it. We are all still navigating, and currently I'm taking a training at the moment, so that just to make sure that things are done the way they should be done and the organization moves forward, including the people. There's no company without the employees, right? So if you're considering this career path, it's actually an interesting one that presents an opportunity to learn. So if you are a learner, then this is for you.
You've heard it from Fidami. So Fidami is the chief of staff of Price Pally. So thank you very much, and thank you for listening. And let's do this again another time. Bye bye now.
Thank you. Bye.